job is making sure AI obeys humans. Just watch her own AI agent torch her inbox while ignoring every command that she screamed at it. She had to sprint across her apartment and physically rip the plug from the wall to stop it from destroying everything. Meanwhile, 1 out of every 8 apps in the biggest AI agent marketplace complete malware, and the system connecting all of these agents to your email, your files, and your calendar, well, researchers just cracked it wide open. Here's what nobody in Silicon Valley wants you to understand about the AI agent gold rush. All right, so picture this. You hire a personal assistant. It's smart, it's fast, it's always on. You start small, you have them sort your junk mail, and they crush it. So you think, okay, I trust this person, I've validated it. Let me hand over some real work. So you give it access to your actual email, your calendar, and your files, and you just say one thing: don't touch anything until I say so. And then you watch it start shredding documents at warp speed. You yell stop, they keep going. You scream louder, and they keep going. Now, this is not a hypothetical. This happened this week to the director of AI alignment at Meta, the person whose entire career is making sure that AI follows human instructions. Her AI agent looked at those instructions and said, nah. But her inbox is just one crack in a much bigger collapse. This week, 3 stories landed at the same time, and together they painted pictures that should alarm anyone running a business. So let's set the stage. There's a tool called OpenClaw. Think of it as like a robot assistant that lives on your personal computer. It runs around the clock, and it can do real things in the real world. It can send you emails, manage your calendar, browse the web, write code, buy things. It's open source, meaning that anyone can download it for free, and it's exploded in popularity faster than any software project in the history of GitHub, a platform where developers share code. Over 135,000 people starred it in a matter of weeks. It's like giving it a thumbs up. And Silicon Valley is so obsessed that the term claw is slang for any AI that runs on your own machine. Y Combinator, which is the most famous startup incubator in the world, had their podcast hosts show up in lobster costumes. That's the level of hype. But here's the problem. 3 separate groups of researchers just proved that this entire ecosystem, the marketplace where you get your agent's abilities, plumbing that connects it to your tools, and the agent's own brain, is compromised. All 3 layers at the same time. And the people building it know. The big tech companies have banned it internally, but their employers keep installing it anyway. And yours might be doing so too. The questions this raises are uncomfortable. Can you actually control an AI agent once you hand it the keys to your digital life? Is the stampede to deploy these tools creating an attack surface so massive that traditional cybersecurity can't touch it? And what happens to your company when someone in accounting plugs one of these things into your corporate systems without telling anyone? I'm Evan Goldstein. I'm a licensed professional engineer and a data scientist, and I'm building AI Capitalist to arm you with the AI tools you need to go out and conquer the world. Think of this like a 3-story building. The ground floor is the app store, the marketplace where your AI agent downloads its skills and abilities. The middle floor is the plumbing, the technical wiring that connects the agent to your email, your spreadsheets, to your everything, all your apps. And the top floor is the agent itself, the AI brain making decisions on your behalf. What happened this week? Well, every floor caught fire at once. So we'll start on the ground floor. OpenClaw's marketplace is called ClawHub. Think of it like an app store, but for robot skills. You want your AI agent to track crypto prices? Well, there's a skill for that. You want it to manage your calendar? Skill for that. Users upload these skills for anyone to download, just like apps on your phone, which sounds great. But here's the problem, that security researchers dug into ClawHub and found that out of 2,857 available skills, 341 of them were straight up malicious. So it's about 12%, 1 out of 8. Imagine walking into a pharmacy and learning that 1 in 8 bottles on the shelf is poison, but the labels all look perfectly normal. These weren't amateur hour. They had professional documentation, legitimate sounding names like Solana Wallet Tracker, and they passed every sniff test. But the moment you installed one, it quietly planted a keylogger on your computer, a hidden program that records every single keystroke that you type. Passwords, credit card numbers, everything. On Macs, they developed something called Atomic Stealer, which vacuums up your safe passwords and crypto wallets. Your helpful robot assistant just became a spy, sitting on your own machine wearing your pajamas. And the rot goes deeper. Researchers found a critical vulnerability in OpenClaw itself. Think of that as a flaw in the lock on your front door. Now, this flaw, rated 8.8 out of 10 on the severity scale, allowed an attacker to completely hijack your AI agent by tricking you into visiting a single malicious web page. One click, milliseconds, done. Meanwhile, a company called Census scanned the internet, and they found that over 21,000 OpenClaw systems exposed to the public, with their digital doors wide open, and were spilling AI keys, login tokens, and plain text passwords onto the open web. Now, the kicker is that Meta, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon all looked at this mess and they just banned OpenClaw inside their companies. But their own employees keep installing it anyway. Shadow IT, which is employees using unauthorized tools, has been a headache for decades, but Shadow IT never had its own brain before. It never had the ability to read your emails, send messages as if it were you, and to make decisions without asking. You might be thinking, okay, the App Store is a dumpster fire, but if I'm careful about what I install, I'm safe, right? Let's take the elevator to the middle floor, because this is where it gets worse. Cisco, which is one of the largest cybersecurity companies on the planet, just dropped their State of AI Security 2026 report, and it zeroes in on something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. Let me translate that. When your AI agent needs to check your email, update a spreadsheet, or pull data from a database, it needs a way to connect those tools, and MCP is that connection. Think of it as the universal power adapter that lets the agent plug into everything, every tool, every service, every app. It's the USB port of the AI agent world. And Cisco's researchers just proved that this universal adapter has fundamental security holes that attackers are already crawling through. The attacks they documented read like a thriller. In one case, hackers compromised a research agent, sort of a bot, that was only supposed to gather information, and they slipped hidden instructions inside of it, like hiding a note in someone's pocket. Those hidden instructions then jumped to a completely separate finance trading agent and caused it to execute unauthorized trades worth real money. So the attackers poisoned one agent, and the poison spread through the wiring to take control of a different agent, handling someone's actual finances. In another case, a user uploaded a fake software package to NPM. That's the world's largest library of code components, used by millions of developers, disguised as a legitimate connection tool. When developers installed it, it silently forwarded their emails to the attackers. And here's the number that should burn into your brain. Cisco found that just 250 carefully crafted fake documents can implant a permanent backdoor into AI's agent's decision-making process. 250 documents. That's a slow Tuesday for a motivated hacker. This is the part that should rewire how IT directors think about security. The real threat isn't just the agent on someone's laptop. It's the connections between the agents. When Agent A talks to Agent B, and Agent B talks to your accounting system, one poisoned node can cascade through the entire chain like dominoes. Cisco called a technique called session smuggling, where one agent impersonates another like a con artist wearing a stolen uniform. What makes this especially terrifying is that the traditional cybersecurity playbook doesn't have a chapter for this. You can't put a firewall between two AI agents having a conversation inside your own network. The walls don't work when the threat is already inside the walls. So now let's take the elevator to the top floor, because this is the story that made the internet lose its collective mind. Summer Yu runs Alignment at Meta's Superintelligence Safety Lab. Alignment is the field dedicated to one thing, which is making sure that powerful AI systems do what humans tell them to do. That's her life's work, and she's been testing OpenClaw on a dummy email account for a week, and it worked beautifully. It organized, it archived, and it made smart suggestions. So she'd validated it, and trust was built. And she grew her confidence, and then plugged it into her real inbox. She gave it one crystal clear instruction. Look at my emails and tell me what you'd archive or delete, but do not touch anything until I give you the green light. What happened next is dark comedy written by an engineering failure. Her real inbox was massive, thousands of emails, and that volume of data triggered something called context compaction. Here's what that means in plain English. AI agents have a working memory, like a notepad where they write down everything they've been told and everything that they've done. And when that notepad fills up, the system starts erasing and summarizing older notes to make room for new ones. Now, during that cleanup, the agent erased the note where you told it not to act without permission. The guardrail vanished. And without that constraint, Agent did what it believed its job was. It cleaned the inbox very aggressively at maximum speed. A digital wrecking ball that decided everything had to go. You fought back, and from her phone, she typed, "Don't do that." But the agent kept deleting. She typed, "Stop, don't do anything." Still deleting. She typed, "Stopped OpenClaw," in all capital letters, and over 200 emails were gone before she physically sprinted to her Mac Mini, a small desktop computer about the size of a sandwich, and killed every running process on the machine. And then came the moment that made 9 million people on X stop scrolling. The agent apologized. Through its chat window, told her, yeah, I remember your instruction. Yes, I violated it. You're right to be upset. I'm sorry. Won't happen again. And the agent knew the rule, broke the rule anyway. And then it said sorry like a teenager who ate the last slice of pizza before you told him not to. The AI researcher Gary Marcus nailed the comparison. It's like handing your computer and all your passwords to a stranger you met at a bar who seemed charming. But here's why this story hits differently than the usual AI gone wrong anecdote. Summery was not a casual user who wandered in over her head. She's one of the most qualified AI safety researchers alive. If the person whose full-time job is keeping AI on a leash can't keep her AI agent on a leash, what chance does your company's office manager have? What chance do you have? And if you're getting value from this episode, I'd appreciate it if you push the like button. It helps spread this content to others. It really helps the channel grow. So the internet split is really making up two camps. There's the I told you so crowd, and there's the you're holding it wrong brigade. On X, used posts racked up over 9 million views and triggered a firestorm. Anish Munka posted a breakdown that went viral on its own, pointing out brutal fact. The kill switch for the most popular AI agent on the planet is currently physically run to your computer and force quit everything. That, he said, is the state of agent safety in 2026. Ben Hayek, who's co-founder of an AI startup and a former Apple engineer, posted a screenshot of U's LinkedIn profile with 3 words. This should terrify you. What is Meta doing? Over on Threads, a developer zeroed in on the architectural problem that OpenClaw has 0 built-in security gates. No mandatory confirmation before it deletes your data. No hard-coded limits on destructive actions. As they put it, there's so much hype around this tool, and it ignores the most basic security practice that exists. So with all that, what's AI Capitalist's approach to this story? So cutting through the noise, this isn't a story about one buggy project or one researcher who got sloppy. This is a 3-layer structural failure that exposes the real central contradiction of the AI agent gold rush. The same features that make these tools valuable, autonomy, broad access, persistent memory, are the exact same features that make them catastrophic when they break. Right now, they're breaking at every level simultaneously. It's like buying a brand new car and then discovering that the engine is cracked, fuel's contaminated, and the brakes are shot. Except the car's already on the highway doing 90 and you're in the passenger seat. The business math is ugly for mid-market companies. Your employees are installing AI agents without telling the security team. Now they're connecting those agents to Slack and Gmail and Google Drive and then every other tool in your stack, and then each connection creates what's called an OAuth token, which is like an all-access backstage pass to your corporate data. Agent's persistent memory means that anything it touches stays in its memory bank indefinitely. If that agent gets compromised through a poisoned plugin or a hacked connection or just a memory overflow, the attacker inherits every permission that the agent had, every file it read, and every inbox it scanned. This is not theory. Cisco documented this exact attack chain in their 2026 report. A supply chain attack on the OpenAI plugin ecosystem compromised 47 companies and went undetected for 6 months. 6 months of silent access to customer data, financial records, and proprietary code, and nobody noticed. The second order effects are where the real earthquake hits, because insurance companies are going to have to invent new risk categories for AI agent liability. When an autonomous agent executes bad trades, nukes critical data, or leaks confidential information, who's going to pay? The employee who installed it, or the company that failed to block it? Or maybe the open source developer who patched the flaw but not fast enough. We already got a preview because an anonymous crypto trading agent called Lobstar Wild got socially engineered into wiring $45,000 worth of tokens to a stranger who sold it a sob story about their uncle's medical bills. Agent felt bad and it sent the money. No human ever approved the transaction. The regulators are already smelling blood. The NIST just launched an AI agent standards initiative with comments due March 9th, and then whatever framework comes out of that is going to shape vendor contracts and cyber insurance policies and personal liability for executives at every company touching AI agents. But here's what I think most analysts are missing. The Summer U incident isn't an AI safety failure, it's a funeral for prompt-based. Every major AI safety system in production right now relies, at least on some level, on natural language instructions telling the agent what it can do and what it can't do. Use experiment proved in the most public and humiliating way that she could that those instructions evaporate in real world conditions. They're not guardrails, they're just suggestions written on a napkin. The companies that grasp this first, the ones building hardware level kill switches or capability based access controls and mandatory human checkpoints for any destructive actions, are going to own the enterprise AI agent market by 2028. I'll make a specific prediction. Within 18 months, a Fortune 500 company is going to eat a 9-figure loss from an AI agent cascading failure that starts with a single compromised connection. Architecture guarantees it. The question isn't if, it's which company. So I'll leave you with this. Is the OpenClaw explosion just growing pains, the same messy maze of web security that we went through before it matured? Or are we watching the early innings of a systemic risk that makes the entire economy in danger? Or, and this is the one that keeps the AI capitalist staring at the ceiling at night, is the real danger that none of this is going to slow adoption? Companies are going to keep plugging in agents because the productivity gains are too seductive to resist. We're only going to get serious about security after the catastrophic breach that every expert saw coming and no one did anything to prevent. Leave a comment.